October 7th, 1943, 09:45 hours. 20,000 feet above the volcanic caldera of Rabaul Harbor, New Britain. The air is a furnace, thick with the acrid tang of cordite and burning avgas, the kind that clings to your flight suit like a second skin. You can almost feel the shudder of the Mitsubishi A6M0 as it banks hard left, its pilot, Lieutenant Junior Grade Tetsuzo Iwamoto, squinting through his canopy at the strange new shape diving from the sun. It's not a Hellcat, not one of those stubby Grumman bruisers that have been chewing up his squadron over the Solomons. This one has wings like a broken gull, bent and awkward, a long snout that looks more like a cargo hauler than a fighter. Iwamoto chuckles into his oxygen mask, the sound lost in the roar of his Nakajima Sakaye engine. What is this American joke, he thinks, a bird with clipped wings? We'll pluck it from the sky. He signals his wingman, a quick wag of his ailerons, and they peel off in a tight Immelmann, climbing for advantage. Below, Rabaul's 5 airfields, Lakunai, Vunakanau, Tobera, Rapopo, and the bombed-out Karavat, bristle with anti-aircraft fire, black puffs blooming like deadly flowers. But up here, it's ace against unknown. Iwamoto has 94 kills painted on his fuselage, ghosts from China to Guadalcanal. This new Yankee plane? It'll be 95. The Corsair Vought F4U-1 Buno 02234, flown by First Lieutenant Robert M. Hansen of VMF 215, doesn't hesitate. Its Pratt & Whitney R2800 double wasp snarls to life, 18 cylinders pounding out 2,000 horsepower, propelling the blue beast through the humid air at over 400 knots. Hansen spots the Zeros turning, their red Hinamaro circles glinting in the tropical sun. He thumbs the firing button on his stick, and 6.5 caliber Browning M2s stutter to life, tracers arcing like fiery lashes. Iwamoto's Zero shudders as rounds punch through its thin aluminum skin. No armor, no self-sealing tanks, just speed and agility. But the Corsair is faster, climbs harder. Iwamoto rolls inverted, trying to shake the pursuer, but the American sticks like glue. A burst catches the Zero's port wing, shearing it clean. The plane spins wildly, trailing smoke, and Iwamoto ejects his canopy, parachuting into the shark-infested Bismarck Sea below. His wingman doesn't fare better. Another Corsair from the squadron dives in, guns blazing, turning the second Zero into a fireball that plummets toward the jungle-fringed coast. Hansen pulls up, sweat stinging his eyes under his goggles, heart hammering against his ribs. "Splash 2, he radios, voice steady but edged with adrenaline. Down on the ground, Japanese ground crews watch in stunned silence as their aces fall. Whispers spread through the bunkers. That whistling devil, it's not like the others. But this is just the opening act. The mockery started months earlier, back when the Corsair was still a rumor, a silhouette in grainy reconnaissance photos. Flash to Stratford, Connecticut, June 1942. The Vought factory hums with the clamor of rivet guns and arc welders, women in coveralls, Rosie the riveters, assembling the first production F4U-1s. The plane is a marvel of desperation and ingenuity, born from a 1938 Navy spec for a fighter that could outfly anything the Axis threw at it. Rex Beissel's design team wrapped it around the massive R2800 engine, the most powerful radial in the world. But that meant a 13-foot Hamilton Standard propeller, the biggest ever on a fighter. To keep the prop from chewing dirt on takeoff, they bent the wings into that iconic inverted gull shape, shortening the landing gear struts while keeping the plane low-slung. It looked odd, ungainly on the ground, like a bird with broken limbs. Early test pilots cursed the long nose that blocked forward view during taxiing, the torque that yanked it left on takeoff, the bouncy oleo struts that made carrier traps a nightmare. One prototype crashed on its first carrier qual, killing the pilot. The Navy brass shook their heads, too hot for the boat.
They sidelined it for land-based ops, handing it to the Marines while Grumman's F-6F Hellcat took the carrier spotlight. But the Marines, they saw potential in the beast. Major William Geese, head of VMF 124, the first squadron to get Corsairs, called it a sweetheart once you're in the air. Training at Turtle Bay, Espirito Santo, in late 1942, pilots learned to harness its power. Top speed 417 miles per hour at 20,000 feet. Climb rate 3,000 feet per minute. Service ceiling over 36,000 feet. Armed with those 650 calibers, 1,000 rounds each, it could shred anything in its path. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, in the humid ready rooms of Rabaul, Japanese pilots lounged under palm-thatched roofs, sipping weak tea and boasting over their Zeros. The A-6, the Racen to them, Zeke to the Allies, was the king of the skies. Since Pearl Harbor, it had ruled with its agility, 20mm cannons and 7.7mm guns. Pilots like Iwamoto, Hiroyoshi Nishizawa, the Devil of Rabaul, 87 kills, and Saburo Sakai, 64 kills, had cut through Wildcats and P-40s like bamboo. When intel reports trickled in about a new American fighter with bent wings, they laughed. Another clumsy Yankee crate. Their planes are heavy, like their food. We'll dance around them, Sakai reportedly scoffed in a letter home. The Zero's pilots prided themselves on Bushido in the air, close-in dogfights where maneuverability trumped speed. The Corsairs' gull wings, a sign of weakness, they thought, a compromise for that oversized prop. It looks like it's trying to fly with crutches, one petty officer joked during a briefing. Little did they know, the whistle was coming. February 12, 1943, Henderson Field, Guadalcanal. VMF 124's Corsairs touched down after a grueling ferry from Espirito Santo, props feathering to a stop amid the mud and crushed coral. The Marines call the place Cactus, a hellhole of malaria, dysentery, and constant raids. Major Geese briefs his men. We're here to escort bombers, cap the field, and give the Japs a bloody nose. The next day, February 13th, they fly their first mission, escorting PB-4Y1 Liberators to Bougainville. No contact. But on Valentine's Day, February 14th, it happens. Operation, a massive strike on Kahili Airfield. Corsairs mix with P-38 Lightnings and P-40 Warhawks. At 20,000 feet, 40 Zeros swarm in. Captain Kenneth A. Walsh, VMF 124's exec, spots them first. Tally-ho, bandits at 2 o'clock high. The fight erupts in a whirlwind of tracers and smoke. A Zero latches onto a P-40's tail. Walsh dives, his Corsair whistling, that eerie keen from the oil cooler intakes under the wings, like a banshee wail. He closes to 300 yards, squeezes the trigger. The Zero's canopy shatters, the pilot slumps, plane spirals into the sea. First Corsair kill. But it's costly. 2 Corsairs collide mid-air, trying to evade. Another takes a 20mm burst and flames out. 10 Marines lost that day. Only 3 Zeros confirmed down. The press dubs it the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Back at base, Walsh wipes oil from his face. She handles like a dream once you're fighting, but we need tactics. They adapt fast, learning from the Zero's weaknesses, exploited after the Akutan Zero crash-landed in Alaska in June 1942 and was dissected by U.S. engineers. No armor, fragile fuel tanks. Hit 'em hard, don't turn with 'em. Boom and zoom, dive, strike, climb away. The Corsair's speed and power make it perfect. By May, Walsh is an ace, downing 5 Zeros in 1 week over the Russells. On May 13th, he bags 3 in 15 minutes, engines screaming as he chases them down to wave-top level. They turn tight, but we outrun them, he tells his squadron. Japanese radio intercepts start mentioning the bent-wing devils. The mockery fades. Cut to Rabaul, the Gibraltar of the Pacific. By summer 1943, it's a fortress. 100,000 troops, 5 airfields, hundreds of planes from the 11th Air Fleet and 4th Air Army. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto had based there before his death in April, shot down by P-38s over Bougainville. Now Vice Admiral Junichi Kusaka commands, with aces like Nishizawa leading the Tainan Kokutai. They raid Allied bases daily, but the tide shifts. Allied Operation Cartwheel aims to isolate Rabaul. Landings on New Georgia, Vella La Vella. Air power is key. In August, VMF-215 and VMF-222 arrive with Corsairs. Then, September, Major Gregory Pappy Boyington forms VMF-214, the Black Sheep, at Espiritu Santo. Boyington's a maverick, ex-Flying Tiger with 6 kills in China, hard drinking, brawling. He handpicks 26 pilots, many green. We'll make aces or die trying, he growls. Their first tour, September 16th to October 17th, over the Solomons. Boyington leads a sweep over Balale Airfield, luring 40 Zeros up. In the melee, he downs 5, becoming a double ace in one day. The squadron claims 20, no losses. Japanese pilots radio panic. Too many, too fast. Nishizawa, flying from Rabaul, engages but pulls back, respecting the new threat. October 12, Allied carriers strike Rabaul for the first time since 1942. Task Force 38, Saratoga, Princeton, launched 349 planes. Corsairs from VF-17, the Jolly Rogers, fly cover. Led by Lieutenant Commander Tom Blackburn, they're the first Navy squadron on Corsairs, land-based at Ondanga, New Georgia. They tangle with 50 Zeros over Simpson Harbor. Blackburn's guns jam, but his wingmen splash 8. Down below, harbor defenses blaze, 200 AA guns, cruisers like Agano firing main batteries. A Betty bomber crashes into the water, oil slicks burning. Japanese ace Shoichi Sugita of the 201st Kokutai bags a Hellcat but evades a Corsair's dive, noting in his log, "The American's new fighter whistles like death's approach. We must climb higher, strike first." The raids intensify. November 5th, another carrier strike. 97 planes from Saratoga and Princeton, plus land-based B-24s. Corsairs escort, mixing it with 68 Zeros. Boyington's Black Sheep are there, now based at Vella La Vella. He downs 2, but loses Lieutenant Chris Magee to flak. Over the radio, a Japanese voice crackles in broken English. "You bent-wing bastards!" No more laughter. You can imagine the tension in Rabaul's ops room. Kusaka paces, maps showing Allied advances. "Their planes are monsters," a staff officer whispers. Nishizawa, gaunt from malaria, nods. He'd mocked the early Wildcats, but the Corsair? It dives like a falcon, climbs like a rocket. Our Zeros are tired. November 11th, Armistice Day for the West, apocalypse for Rabaul. 5 carriers, Enterprise, Saratoga, Princeton, Bunker Hill, and Independence, launched 349 planes. Corsairs from VF-17 refuel on Bunker Hill mid-mission, a first. Over the target, 120 Zeros rise. The fight is brutal. Jolly Rogers claim 18 kills. Black Sheep adds 16. Japanese lose 35 planes, including aces like Sugita, shredded by 50 cal fire mid-turn. Hansen of VMF-215 bags 4 that day, his guns chattering as Zeros explode in orange blooms. Below, cruisers Maya and Otago take hits, limping. The harbor is a cauldron of smoke and sinking ships. Iwamo, who'd parachuted earlier, watches from a hospital bed. "We thought them clumsy. Now they butcher us." Boyington's tour peaks. By December, VMF-214 has 97 kills. He ties the record with 25 on December 23rd, down a 3 over Rabaul. "Press on, regardless," his motto. Japanese call him Gramps, but fear his squadron's Wolfpack tactics. High cover, bait and switch. January 3rd, 1944, Boyington's last mission. Sweeping Rabaul with 48 Corsairs from multiple squadrons. 60 Zeros engage. Boyington downs 3, but takes hits. His plane flames, he parachutes into St. George's Channel, captured by submarine I-181. POW for 20 months. Nishizawa claims him, adding to his tally. But the cost? 11 Zeros down, including veterans. The campaign grinds on. By February, Rabaul is neutralized, planes destroyed, fields cratered, supplies cut. Allies bypass it, leaving 100,000 Japanese to wither. Corsairs shift to Bougainville, then Philippines. Walsh, now with VMF 222, adds to his 21 kills. At Okinawa, April 1945, he downs a kamikaze Val, earning the Medal of Honor for earlier heroism, solo against 50 Zeros over Vella La Vella, downing 4 despite wounds. The Corsair's legacy? 2,140 Japanese planes downed, 11-to-1 ratio. 189 lost to enemy fighters, but 349 to AA and 230 operational. It bombed, rocketed, napalmed. 70% of fighter-dropped ordnance in the Pacific. Charles Lindbergh, civilian advisor, flew 50 missions, teaching extended range. Japanese survivors reflect bitterly. Sakai in his memoir, "The Corsair was our nightmare. Its whistle heralded doom." Nishizawa, before dying in a transport crash, October 1944, confided to comrades, "We laughed at their bent wings. Now our aces are graves." From mockery to massacre, the F4U turned the Pacific skies American. The butcher of Rabaul, whistling death incarnate.